do hereby find the defendant guilty of the charge of criminally negligent homicide.
First on 2 tonight, a jury finds an Oregon City couple guilty in the faith-healing death of their teenage son. Good evening. Thanks a lot for being with us. Jeff and Marcy Bigley are members of a church that relies on faith healing instead of doctors, but their decision against taking their son for treatment could now land them behind bars.
On Your Side investigator Dan Tilkin was in court for the verdict. So, Dan, you also talked to one of the jurors about how difficult it was for them to reach their verdict.
Right, and the verdict was not unanimous. The Bigleys were convicted on a 10-2 vote, which Oregon allows in cases like this. Now, Marcy Bigley, she wept after the verdict was read, the verdict that meant that she and her husband were responsible for their son Neil's death. Several of the jurors, they wept as well. Jeff Bigley, he remains stoic. In the audience were members of the Followers of Christ Church, and many of them cried quietly as well. The only juror who talked with the press said he wanted to make sure the public didn't think the Bigleys are evil.
It was a tough decision because they were very nice. We'd all love to have them as our neighbors. It was just this one decision, and it was hard to come to. I mean, and we hope they get a lenient sentence, okay, because they're not evil. I mean, they just made a wrong decision.
But that juror says they didn't know about the many other children who have died as members of the Followers of Christ Church because the judge didn't allow prosecutors to tell them. Well, today I counted 60 graves of children at the church's cemetery going back decades, 3 with the last name of Bigley. Now, the Bigleys were allowed to go home after today's sentencing. They'll come back in 2 weeks and learn their punishment. Now, under Oregon law, this is not a Measure 11 offense. Now, state guidelines call for a typical sentence of 16 months to 18 months, but the judge has a lot of leeway here. He could go higher, he could go lower, even simply giving the Bigleys probation. Back to you.
Dan, thank you. Well, the courtroom was full of family and friends all supporting the Bigleys, and they all quickly left after the verdict was read. But we did speak to one of the Bigleys' attorneys. K2's Carrie Tomlinson continues our live team coverage with what they had to say. Carrie?
Well, right, their defense attorney is talking, but right now the Bigleys they did not come out through the front door of the courthouse today like everyone else involved in the case, but slipped out through the side door. Their attorney says they are exhausted. Now, here they are arriving in court this afternoon after getting word that the jury had reached a verdict. However, they did not hear what they wanted to from the jury. Their attorney says this was actually not about faith healing to him. Instead, he says the Bigleys simply did not know their son was as sick as he was.
Very sad, as you can imagine. If a conviction and a prison sentence meant they got their son back, they'd do that in a heartbeat.
Now, here are the Bigleys leaving after the verdict, jumping into their car and driving away. Their attorney says they may appeal, and here's why. He says he believes the trial was fair, but he disagrees with some of the rulings of the court, especially regarding jury instructions. Now, if the Bigleys appeal, it then would be possible in his eyes that he could change the kind of information that the jury would hear in court. For example, the concept about the Bigleys' granddaughter, Ava Worthington, who died in a similar case, and that would be a question for the new jury to consider. Reporting live in Oregon City, Carrie Tomlinson, K2 News.
Carrie, thank you. Now, we do want to know what you think. Did the jury get it right by finding the Bigleys guilty? Write to us at viewersvoice@KATU.com, or you can also call us. The number is 503-231-4642.